Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about C4 in Call of Duty Black Ops 3. It has returned, of course, but it has both been nerfed and buffed. The C4 got a pretty major rework. It's not quite going to be that good old C4 that you remember, and I would like to add a little caveat or an asterisk here. The build of Call of Duty Black Ops 3 multiplayer that I played was pre-alpha. They literally haven't even hit the pre-alpha stage, and a lot of the developers talked about we're adding and removing guns, equipment balances, perks, etc., etc. It could change, but I have a feeling they were pretty happy with the C4 balance because we talked about it a lot. But let's talk about the nerf first, and then the buff, and then a little bit of the rework. First of all, the C4 can no longer be airbursted. It's no longer the pocket airbursting grenade that you just chunk through a door, double tap X, and boom, everybody dies. That's no longer a thing. That was always kind of BS and unfair and made it better than regular grenades and overpowered in my opinion. Annoying too, because you can kind of spam it if you had two of them. Now the C4 must touch the ground before it detonates. You can detonate it very quickly if you throw it a short distance, if you throw it a couple feet ahead of you, if you throw it on the ceiling, on your feet, and blow yourself up, that's fine. But if you want to throw it long range, you cannot detonate it until it hits the ground. I think this is a perfectly fair and reasonable balance to it. This keeps you from being able to spam it, abuse it, blow people out through doors. Makes total sense. That is technically a nerf though, but it's been changed because now it deals more damage. Like the actual blast radius on the C4 is bigger and more lethal than it used to be before. The C4 really goes boom now. I mean, it hits like a dump truck, and I personally think that is a perfectly fair, reasonable, and balanced trade. The C4 was always supposed to be more powerful than a grenade, more deadly, but it wasn't supposed to be airbursted all the time. So now you have to throw it and let it hit the ground, the wall, the ceiling, whatever. But when you detonate it, it just kaboom, just nukes everything. Really big. I personally didn't get a lot of kills with it, mostly because I was trying to use it like a Black Ops 2 C4. I was trying to chunk it at people and airburst it, and it didn't really work that way. Did get a few that I threw over a wall and let it land on the ground and blew people up like that, but it got another slight rework. So the idea behind a C4 is that it was always supposed to be a tactical thing, like you plant it on a flag, on a bomb, you use it in search and destroy, something like that. But what ends up happening is that's useless because you have no idea when anybody's close to your C4. You have no idea if they're in radius, and if you can see them, it pretty much always makes more sense to just shoot them than to detonate the C4. I mean, it's kind of a useless thing right there. So now what they have is a little detector. It's kind of like a little motion sensor. It lets you know when people gets close. It's on your HUD. It's kind of small, and it's down there where the C4 little icon is. So when you plant your C4, we'll pretend this is search and destroy, or actually we'll do domination. Let's say you plant your C4 near a domination flag, and for whatever reason you don't notice that the flag's being captured or the announcer was busy and was something else, you'll see a little thing came up that says like enemy detected, proximity, whatever, and you know that you can detonate it. That usually means they're close enough for you to get a kill. It's not a guarantee. It's definitely enough to get a hit marker, not always going to kill them. You can kind of do this in search and destroy too if you hide your C4. You'll get some indication when people are close enough to it to hit. Whether or not it kills them or not, that's a little bit random. That's all on that's your guess. But I think that this makes it a lot more useful and tactical because now you can actually use it the way it was intended to be. Not a grenade, not a random spam thing, but something that you actually plant to hold an area and wait, and you kind of have an idea of when people are close. I think this is really going to change up Dom, CTF, and especially S&D. I think there's going to be a new metagame in Search and Destroy where people kind of hide C4s and try and nail people when they arm or defuse the bomb. I think that's going to be good. Overall, I think this is a good change. I think the nerf makes sense because it never made sense to airburst. I think it makes sense that the C4 blows up bigger than the grenade, and I think it makes sense that we can actually detonate it and use it tactically. Very happy with this, and I think it's a very good thing. Guys, that's all for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something useful. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe, and do stick around because there's going to be a lot more Black Ops 3 stuff coming up. Drifter out.